You know, I am sure glad that I am not planning on having to use my table saw today. Well, it is now the next morning, and all I have to do is basically press these parts together. And I'm not going to post this video until Darcy's pen is finished, so I hope it happens today. Now, before I can press these together, I have to make sure that this end is going to match right there, and this part right here is going to match here, and this is going to match right there, and up here where the clip is, this end has to match right there. Right now, they're a little larger than they should be. What a lot of guys do is they will turn the pen blanks down so that everything matches perfectly. I have a tendency to want to round my stuff over, and the reason for that is because I like to keep the blank as large as possible. To me, it's all about the wood. It's not about the pen parts, unless it's a real decorative pen. Now you'll see why I'm changing the bushings to a smaller diameter bushing in just a minute here. I'm going to try something that I've never done before, and I think it's probably going to work out better. Now the idea is that this is supposed to fit just inside this ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down until the caliper just starts to slip over the end. I've got it turning at just a little over 300 RPM here. That's about all I want. Now this may or may not work. I don't know. Well, that's pretty close. Now, those of you who have watched me round over these sharp edges before know that I've done it like this. And I don't know if what I just did today is an improvement. I think it's just something different. I'm probably going to go back to using the electric drill. I am finally ready to start pressing these parts together, at least I think I am. And I've mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. And that is, I find that if I lay the pen parts out in the order that they're supposed to go, and in the right direction, there's less of a chance of screwing it up when you're pressing it together, which I have done. Now, the instructions that came with this kit recommended that I use a little bit of CA glue to hold the ring onto the tenon. So I'm putting a little bit of CA glue onto a piece of wax paper rather than putting the CA glue directly onto the tenon or the ring, because it seems to have a tendency to want to gush out. This way, it's a little safer. Now this little twist transmission gets pressed into this part here, but it has to protrude 13/16 of an inch out from here. So I'm going to just make a little mark on here where 13/16 of an inch from here to the mark will be, and then we'll press it in until it's up to that mark. At least that's the plan. Yeah, I think I can see that. Normally your better quality refills have a little plastic cap over the end to keep the ink from drying out, and of course you have to take that off before the pen will write. But of course, because the camera's on, it's not going to work. There. Okay, now we'll get the grain lined up here. As best we can, that is. Yeah, that's kind of okay. And then press it together. Yeah. Now, when I turn it, it should come out here. And there it is. Well, Darcy's pen is finished. Gotta check it out, make sure it writes. Now I just know that Darcy's going to want to take this pen with him when he goes out fishing on Dory Lake, and he'll pass it around to his fishing buddies, and they'll be going ooh and ah as they hear the story of how this pen was made from wood that came from one of the original Michelle Lodge boats. Now Murphy's Law says one of them's going to drop it. Murphy's Law also says they'll drop it in the lake. Murphy's Law also says it will not be a shallow part of the lake. So Darcy, if you're going to take this pen with you when you go fishing, make sure it's wearing a life jacket.